The lighting plays a crucial role in inspiration and creativity, and it's something they've carefully considered in the new studio in Casa Axis.
O sea, queremos que el estudio, uno, tenga que ver con la casa, y dos, es evidente que tiene que tener luz. O sea, luz es todo, ¿sabes? Y la casa era lo mismo. O sea, en esa época no se hacían esos ventanales gigantes como hicieron ahí. La luz era tan importante, o así lo entiendo yo, que era tan importante en la casa, que la luz artificial también la exprimieron al máximo. Cuando vi la de Gaeulendi concretamente, que sí que la conocía bien, dije, tú, lo que hay aquí. Y ahí empezamos a tirar de la cuerda y la verdad que hemos flipado bastante. Cuando llegó el momento de ver qué luminaria vamos a poner en el estudio nuevo, por supuesto pensé que tenía que ser la hostia, que tenía que tener sentido a nivel técnico, es decir, iluminar de puta madre como si fuera un museo, pero a la vez ser unas luminarias potentes a nivel diseño, ¿sabes? Que tuvieran diseño, que tuvieran algo espacial de alguna manera. Y para mí mi diseñador favorito contemporáneo claramente es Benoit Lalloz, que es lo máximo. No puedo estar más contento de haber currado con él.
I'm in this courtyard since 1990, when I started a small company to make scenography for museum. And I worked for RATP during several years. And after that, we worked for Nicolas Guesquin for Balenciaga, for Céline, FPSTUDIO a lot. And I meet Felipe Pantone. And when I meet him in Casa Axis, it was very curious because it's like if I've met him in another life.
Over the past 50 years, we know that many of the lamps originally in the house have been lost. However, we are fortunate that many of these lamps that were initially installed have survived, which helps us understand that the concept of the house wasn't solely architectural. Product design played a crucial role in conveying the concept of space futurism.
Some time ago, I was fortunate enough to have met Mathieu Mercier. He's a great artist, but on top of everything, he has a profound knowledge of design history.
What is completely crazy, it's the project itself, that half of the house is under the ground in a way, and the other house underground, a little bit higher than the ground level, with just this surrounding transparent, which is the swimming pool. Also inside, so well preserved. Most of the furniture were still there, and at least the rooms kept the entirely spirit from the 70s. So this is like a museum in itself.
I wanted to bring this idea of that we are also in a fiction, because when you visit Casa Axis and when you see Felipe Pantone that explained to you his project for Casa Axis, sorry, but we are in total fiction. Total fiction. It's a film, it's a movie. I was immediately inside the fiction, and this fiction is an idea of design of spaceships, as an idea of travel, an idea that Casa Axis is on other planets.
The house is definitely a global project. There's someone behind who had the vision and the knowledge of it. It's a futuristic house. It's a spaceship thing. So, and all the old furniture that there's in the Casa Axis reflect this projection into the future. It was obvious that all the furniture in should be designed as a spaceship, yeah.
The collection harmoniously features lamps from Italian, Spanish and German designs of the 1960s and 1970s, but the presence of Italian design predominates over all others.
Italy at some point in the 50s and 60s had the balance between the capacity of production of small craftsmen with the idea of designers. Designers, they had also their own capacity to produce things, so they were really, really free.
Elio Martinelli was one of Italy's most representative product and interior designers. In the mid-20th century, he founded Martinelli Luce, which has remained a reference in lighting design to this day. One of his pieces that we can find at Casa Axis is Serpente, designed in 1965.
Esta estaba en la vista principal y la polla, no se quedó. I mean, this one is a keeper.
The iconic Mappamondo model 2144 lamp from 1968 is also part of the Casa Axis collection.
Es como el arte visual, normalmente cuanto más grande, más impacta, ¿no? Coño, las lámparas también pasan, ¿eh? De repente ves semejante objeto que la verdad que flipas.
The rooms in the house were lit up by Artemide lamps. This famous Italian lighting brand was started in 1960 by Sergio Mazza and Ernesto Gismondi. Gismondi's wife, Emma Gismondi-Schweinberger, designed the Aminta lamps in 1966. Another popular series from Artemide is called Pilio, designed by the well-known Italian designer Guy Aulenti.
She was a very good designer, and it's like a helmet, white helmet. And it has all the topic of what we were expecting from a furniture at that time. But you can change the quality of the lights to make it more strong on one point or more soft. This is what I like in the most of this design, that you can turn the lamps, be much more polyvalent. It was something new, more or less, at that time. Because before you had lamps and a ceiling lamp to lead a specific place, but not to create really a different function for the room.
O sea, esta es como de las más estilizadas al final, porque subes son como formas redondas, curvas, esferas, y de repente esas súper estilizadas, sin embargo, siempre hay curva.
In the 1970s, Milanese designer Bruno Guechelin created the Domia lamp series, featuring light intensity regulators and bulb height adjustment to create different atmospheres.
You can see all the school of design in this Casa Axis. And to say, I'm going to put an additional piece, it's risky. In terms of design, it's strong. The idea is to be very, very different and to move forward inside this idea of spaceship and disappear in the planets. I think all that is a piece of life, and I think that all this shape, there is tension, and I would like to put tension inside life. It's also my enthusiasm to work with Felipe is inside this tension. When you are going to move in the space, you have to forget this presence. We will have some art piece of Felipe that will be on the wall, and in the same time on each piece of LUMIÈRE on the ceiling. And we are going to have on the ceiling a lot of art piece of Felipe Pantone that can disappear if you move just a little.
In Spain, by the late 1960s and early 1970s, first industrial designers started to emerge. Miguel Millar and his brother Lorenzo were two of the pioneers in industrial design in Spain.
No, porque de Tramo, que es una empresa que ya no existe, hay un montón de cosas en esa casa. En la época era la hostia.
In 1957, Miguel Millar founded Tramo, a lighting company that would become a milestone in the history of Spanish design. The Tramo brand was highly considered for illuminating the house, such as the entrance lamp or the pill wall lamp series installed in the old changing rooms of the tennis court. Also, in the discotheque, you can find the semi-spherical lamps by Joan Antoni Blanc, awarded the Golden Delta for design in 1966. Leopoldo Millar founded Pollinax, initially a motorcycle parts manufacturing company, which later expanded to produce their own furniture designs, lamps, furniture and fireplaces. In fact, the fireplace in the house also seems to be from Pollinax.
O sea, que este es el otro gran referente de diseño en España, ¿no? Estaba Miguel Milá y Andrés Ricard. Que esta lámpara, esa está ahí abajo en el techo y en realidad se supone que es de mesa.
The lamps he created with metal arte are considered iconic pieces. Also, those in the old gymnasium and the entrance to the disco are his designs. Although Italian and Spanish design predominates, there are also other examples of futuristic space-age lighting from the 1970s, such as the tube ceiling by German designer Rolf Kruger, located in the bathrooms, or the designs of Japanese lighting designer Motoko Ishii. Not only were the lamps carefully chosen for the interior, but also for the garden, where several by Miguel Millar or the iconic tamburo lamps can be found.
And you can feel in this lamp the beginning of this high technology machine.
Ganas de que esté todo terminado y iluminarlas.
Preserving the original lamps of a house is crucial for maintaining its authenticity and character. More than mere accessories, these lamps tell stories and reflect the unique style of their inhabitants. Conserving the original lamps involves not only preserving the aesthetics, but also the essence and soul of the house.
whatever is the function of an object, with time, its own symbolic aspect, it's going to be more important than the function itself. The house is definitely a global project.
Light is a very important element in the house, both natural and artificial. When we projected the new buildings, I wanted to keep them minimal so they didn't compete with the house. But the one element I wanted to emphasize was light design. They had to be contemporary, but remind somehow space age and the technological aspect. Benoit Lalloz is my favorite contemporary designer, hands down, and he certainly embodies all of this.
This idea of spaceship, and there is an idea of double life somewhere. If you go inside and you see outside, you are going to see the green landscape on the luminary. If you make the opposite, you are going to see maybe the piece of art. In fact, they disappear of the landscape because they began to be the landscape itself, you know. The luminary is going to reflect what is seen, you know. The luminary show what is seen.